So just move your gear just a little bit out of the way so you have plenty of space to work. Then we're going to start in a standing position, and we're just going to start with something simple, just passing the ball around the waist, just to kind of tune in. Notice the space of your ball, the space that it takes up connected to your body. Notice your hand hold. Notice your energy level at this point. We've already worked for a nice half hour, so just notice how you're feeling. And then as you're going in this direction, if you can, close your eyes down, keep passing the ball, knowing where that ball is connected to your body. Take one more pass around with your eyes closed. See if you can reverse directions and start to pass the other way. Awesome. One more pass in this direction, and then open your eyes, and we're going to start to take it into a little pass under one knee and then pass under the other. So we're just going to find that little transfer of weight, a little tiny bit of work in the hip flexor muscles. Nice. Now, the next time your right leg picks up, hold it there. Do about 4 passes just under that leg. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, set that foot down, take it to the other side. Pick that leg up, do about 4 passes underneath that leg. Yes, nice work. Okay, now set that foot down. Place that ball right between the inner thighs, and we're going to take it right into some squats. So think butt back, bend your knees, but keep and maintain that nice little connection on the inner thighs. So as we sink into our little squat, we want to think about keeping that even distance as you go down and that even distance as you come up. Nice work. 4 more to go here. Beautiful. One more time for Linda. Nice job. Okay, now grab that ball and place it between the ankles, and then just step your feet in so that your toes and your knees are pointing fairly forward, but you keep a nice firm little hold on that ball between the ankles. Once you're there, lift your heels up and then lower them back down. Lift your heels up and lower them down. And we want to see if you can notice, does one ankle want to drive the car? Is there one that wants to go a little faster than the other? And if you notice a little imbalance, see if you can maintain a steady pace so both heels lift at the same time. 3 more to go here. Awesome. Now release your ankles from that ball, step them apart just a little bit. And then we want to just see if we can get our ball to stay in a stable position, just nice and stationary on the ground. Once you've got your ball not rolling all over the place, now we're going to take a couple of big steps over the ball. So we want to make sure we clear that ball entirely so we don't kick it around. So big giant step over and a big giant step over to the other side. Take it slow to start. And even if you like, look down, know where the ball is. But then once you know where the ball is, now can you keep your eyes forward without looking down at the ball, knowing exactly where it is connected to your space, and take a couple of big giant steps clearing that ball? Yes, nice work. Beautiful. One more step across each side. And then as you come to one side, step your foot onto the ball. So it's going to create that little imbalance. And now we're back to our squats. Think butt back, bend your knees, come up with a bit of control. Sink down into your squat and then come back up. Beautiful. 2 more on this side. Lovely. And then when you're ready, step over and across, place your other foot onto the ball, find your even position first, and then away we go. Think butt back, bend your knees, sink into your squat, come back up with control. Nice. 3 more here. Beautiful. And when you're ready, we're going to take it down onto the ground. So leave your ball down on the floor, come down into an all fours position. So come down just in any way that you like, but your right hand is going to be on the ball, left hand is going to be on the ground. Once you've got your way here, we're going to find hovering table. So we're going to curl the toes under. Your hand is going to be on the ball with a really firm grip. So find your hand grip first. And now we're going to push into the left hand, into the ball, pick your knees up and hover. Lower your knees back down with control. Pick your knees up and hover. Yes, lower your knees with control. 2 more on this side. Pick your knees up and hover. Lower with control. Last one here, pick your knees up and hover. Beautiful, lower with control. Pass it over to the other side. Left hand on the ball, right hand on the ground, and away we go. Pick your knees up and hover. Lower down, reassess, make sure your wrist feels good about that. And then here we go, 3 more to go. Lift your knees and hover. Lower with control. Awesome. Lift your knees and hover. Lower with control. Last one here, lift your knees and hover. Lower with control. Beautiful. Pass that ball back over to the right hand and think single arm puppy pose. So the right hand is going to reach up towards the top end of your mat. Left hand's going to turn in. So fingers are going to turn towards the right side of the mat and then drop your chest down. So keep your hand on the ball. Nice long reach through your arms. Chest sinks down, forehead sinks down. Take 3 nice big breaths. When you're ready, come up with control, and then we'll pass it over to the other side. So left hand gets the ball, right fingertips turn in, your left hand reaches towards the top end of the mat with the ball underhand, and then let your chest sink down. Let your forehead rest, maybe on your forearm or maybe on your mat. One more breath. Beautiful. And then come up with a bit of control. And now we're going to work up into the chest. So if you've got anything going on up in the chest area, you might choose to stay in a more upright position and do this in a seated position, pressing the ball against your chest. But if it feels okay to have a little pressure on, you're going to come down onto your belly, placing that ball underneath the chest in a way that feels good. If you've had any work done up in the top half of the body or any recent surgeries, I highly recommend that you just do it in a seated position. But if you can, bring that ball underneath the chest, and then we're going to let everything soften. So arms are just going to find a soft, wide position. Maybe you stack your hands and maybe you let your forehead rest there. So we're just going to let the upper body round over the ball and then let your breath do the rest of the work for you here. Take nice full inhalations, slow but natural exhalations. Take one more breath. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, slowly start to bring yourself up. So just kind of prop yourself up so you come off of the ball a little bit, but now we're going to move it on down to the solar plexus. So if you can, place that ball. So now it's underneath the solar plexus and you might have to do just a little bit of rearrange. So it's in that center. And now elbows and forearms are going to be in line with the shoulders. So we're going to get a nice parallel position with the hands with the ball underneath the solar plexus. Pull your elbows back towards your ribs. So we get a little bit of engagement through the back of the body. Nice. And now reach through your toes and we're going to lift the toes and the tops of the feet away from the floor. So the backs of the legs kick on. We're going to keep that lifted position, reaching through the left toes. Now bend your right knee, do a little pump of your heel towards your butt, and then extend it nice and long, but the toes stay lifted. Pump your left foot and then lower it back down. Beautiful. Pump right foot, lower it back down. Beautiful. Pump your left foot and lower it back down. Nice. One more each side. Pump your right foot and lower it down. Pump your left foot and lower it down. Beautiful. Now roll over onto one side just slightly. And now we're going to see if we can move that ball down underneath the belly button. Once you're underneath the belly button, as you come back onto your ball, knees down, elbows and forearms down. So hardly any of your body weight is on the ball. Your elbows and forearms and your knees are helping support that work. Once you feel like you're there, now we're going to engage those abdominal muscles. So firm up your belly. Imagine you're pushing the ball away from you and then soften the abdomen over the ball just for a second. Beautiful. Do that again. Firm up your belly, push the ball away from you. So you broaden through the back of your body. Nice. And then soften over the ball just as much as you can. One more time. Firm up your belly, push the ball away from you. And then this time you're going to soften over the ball just as much as you can. So relax your abdominal muscles as best you can. Soften over it. Let your toes go a little bit. Let your shoulders relax just a little bit. You might feel that little bit of heartbeat. You might feel just a little bit of, you want to make sure it's a comfortable pressure. So if there's anything that's getting you caught up and you're not even breathing comfortably, you might want to come off the ball. Do this work in a seated position. But if it feels okay to be here, take one more breath. Cool. And then we're going to rock the hips a little bit side to side. So keeping that ball underneath the belly button, just drop your hips over to the right and then drop them over to the left. Beautiful. One more little rock of the hips side to side. And then we're going to prop ourselves back up into a tabletop position. So push into your arms, push into your knees, lift yourself back up to that tabletop position. And now we're going to take the ball and tuck it right behind the back of the right thigh and the back of the calf. So we're going to hug that ball into that space, get it into a nice firm hold. And then we're going to just lift the leg up. So think heel up towards the ceiling, lower it back down with control. Heel up towards the ceiling, lower it with control. Nice. And keep a nice, sturdy, stable position with that tabletop. Lower it with control. Nice work. Lift it up and lower it with control. Nice. 2 more to go here. All right, now on this last one, we're going to stay up and hold, and then we're going to think up an inch, down an inch. So the knee's going to lower a little bit and then up a little bit. Beautiful. Now this last one, we're going to lift that heel hold and then add a little pulse. So we're going to take it into a little bit more of a rapid pace, and we're pumping that leg for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold that ball between your calf and your thigh. Lower the knee down and now take it into some fire hydrants. Lift it out to the side, lower it back down with control. Lift it out to the side and lower with control. Nice. 2 more just like that. Lift out and lower, lift out and lower. Now we're going to lift it out and hold and think up an inch, down an inch. So we're going to keep it up, finding just a little bit of work, but a slower pace. Nice. And now add that little pulse. So a little bit faster, keeping that ball between your calf and your thigh. And we're here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Woo! Lower that knee down. Release that ball from back behind you. Pull your butt back to your heels. Get a little stretch. Take a nice big breath. Nicely done. And then come back up and we're taking that to the other side. So tuck the ball behind your left thigh and the calf. Get that little squeezed in position. And then once you've got that ball in place, we're lifting the heel up towards the sky and lowering it back down. Beautiful. Two more to go here. All right, now we're going to hold that leg lifted and think up an inch and down an inch. So slower pace, but everything else is staying pretty stable. Last one. Now we're going to hold that heel up and pulse. So add that pulse, get that little bit of a fire going. And we're pulsing for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Lower the knee down and then take it into your fire hydrants. Like lifts out to the side, lower it back down. Lift it out to the side and lower it down. Nice work. 4 more to go. Last one. Now lift it up and hold and think up an inch, down an inch. So a little bit of movement. One more time. Now hold it out there and pull. So a little bit of a faster pace. And we're there for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Woo! Lower that knee down. Remove that ball from behind you. Pull your butt back to your heels. Get a nice little stretch to your glutes. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Now from here, we're going to lift on up. Now we're going to take that ball and it's going to be underneath our front hip bone. So like we were on our belly, but now we're just going to bring that ball a little bit lower. So if you can, place that ball so that you can rest your hip bones onto the ball. Knees are down, elbows and forearms are going to help support that movement. And now we're going to come back to that rock. So think about pushing over onto one knee and then the other, but think of that big roll across the ball. So from one hip bone to the other, just roll across that ball. Nice. Beautiful. One more roll each side. And then when you're ready, we're going to flip over onto our back side. So grab hold of that ball, swing your legs out and around in any way that works good for you. But we're flipping over onto our back and we're going to place that ball between the inner thighs, close to the knees. So bring that ball with you, come down onto the ground. And then once you've got that ball in place, we're going to do that little bit of a thigh master. So hands down onto the ground, knees are going to push in towards each other. Hold that little position for a second and then release. Knees push in towards each other, inner thighs are firing up. Hold it for a second and then release. Knees push in, hold it and release. Knees push in, hold and release. 3 more to go. Knees push in, hold and release. Knees push in, hold and release. Last one. Knees push in, hold and release. Now we're going to keep that ball between the inner thighs. Hands are going to find those bony landmarks. So find those little front protruding hip bones. We're going to start with a pelvic tilt, but what we're shooting for is to find a neutral spine and neutral pelvis. So start with a pelvic tilt. Press your low back into the ground and then return to the natural curve of your back. Press your low back into the ground, release to the natural curve of your back. Do that just a few more times just to see if you can feel that little bit of movement of those front hip points. And then if you can, get a sense of where your front pubic bone is. So that front bone of the pubic area and then those hip points. And now we want to imagine that the pelvis is going to get level. So imagine a level that you would use when you're doing your housework or your woodworking. So think about that bubble of the level. So we're going to line up that bubble. So those front hip protrusion bones and the front pubic bone are going to get into a level set. And then once you've got them lined up, hold that position. Now pull your backs of your ribs down towards the ground. So hips stay in that steady, even position, backs of the ribs pull down, and then your core fires up. Once you feel like you've kind of found that, bring your hands down alongside your hips. We're going to maintain that stable position with the spine and the pelvis. And now we're just going to lift the legs up and then lower the toes down. So we're going to keep and maintain that neutral spine, neutral pelvis, lift the legs up and lower with control. Beautiful. If you like working with the breath, you're going to exhale with your effort and inhale as you bring the legs back up. Two more to go here. Awesome. Now, the next time your feet touch down to the ground, keep that ball between your thighs, move right into a hip bridge. Inhale as you lift your hips up. Exhale as you lower back down. 7 more to go. Inhale as you lift. Exhale to lower. Last 2 here. Beautiful. Now grab that ball from between your knees and your thighs, lift your hips up, and now we're going to place the ball underneath the tailbone. So lift it up as high as you can. Get that ball situated so it's underneath your tailbone and right around the area where the structure of the hip bones would be. So we want to make sure that it's underneath that strong structure of the hip bones. Once you've got it feeling like it's in a good position, fairly centered, hands are going to come down alongside the hips and we're going to come back to that pelvic tilt. So you're going to curl the tailbone slightly and then release, trying to find that natural position of the pelvis. Curl the tailbone slightly and release. Beautiful. Take about 4 more just like that. Last one, and then see if you can maintain that fairly neutral pelvis. Toe heel your feet out just a little bit wider so you have a good base of support with your legs. And now we're going to start to drop the hips side to side. So imagine that there's a marble at your hip point and you're dropping it from one hip bone to the other. So now you're getting a little bit of a figure 8 action. You're dragging your hips across the ball and then just taking that nice little curve around the side and bringing it back up. Take a few more times, just going at a pace that is good for you. Nice. One more time each side, or even yourself out. And then as you come back to center, you're going to toe heel the feet in a little bit closer. So feet are about hip width distance apart. Keep your left leg bent, hands on the ball just to make sure it feels secure. Slide your right leg nice and long. Flex your foot. See how it feels to release your hands from the ball. And then if it feels really good, right hand's going to reach up. So we're reaching through the right foot, through the right hand. Take a nice big breath. Wonderful. Slide the right leg in, slide the right hand in, switch to the other side. So hold on to the ball just to make sure it's secure underneath you. Slide your left leg nice and long, flex your foot. Once you feel like that leg is in secure position, left leg is going to reach up. So we reach through the left foot, through the left hand, take a nice deep breath in. Keep the left leg out if you can. Bring the left hand back in just to secure that ball underneath you. And now see if it feels available to walk the right leg out as well. So both legs out nice and long. Make sure the ball is secure underneath you. And then if it feels good, both arms are going to reach up and overhead. So we get that nice gentle back bend. So really finding a stretch through the front of the hips, through that front hip pocket area specifically. See if you can find a little bit of sensation there. Take one more breath. Wonderful. And then with control, arms are going to come back down alongside the hips. Step your feet in slowly and carefully. Lift your hips up away from the ball and then release that ball from underneath you. Lower your hips with control. From here, we're going to take it right up into the shoulder blade area. So lift your back up, place that ball so that it's underneath your spine, in between the shoulder blades. And then once you feel like you've got a good position there, hands behind the head. We're going to lean over the ball. And then we exhale, use your abdominal muscles to come back up. Inhale and lean over the ball. Exhale to come back up. 3 more just like that. Inhale, lean over the ball. Exhale to come up. Last 2. Beautiful. Now we're going to take it into a little bit of a chest opener or heart opener. So as you lean over the ball, release your hands out. So arms are going to come out nice and wide. Head is going to drop back just as far as feels comfortable. If you get to a point where it's just too much, it's not good for your head, your neck, your throat, or any other position, come back to a point that you can support. But if it feels okay to have the arms wide and the head drop back, once you feel like you're there, see where you can soften. Can you relax the muscles across the chest? Can you relax your jaw? Two more cycles of breath here. Nice. And then when you're ready, slowly start to lift your head away from the floor. Hands are going to come behind the head to support the head again. And then once you've got that, push into your feet, lift your hips up away from the ground, and then we're going to glide up and down that ball. So we're going to go from the shoulder blade area all the way up to the tops of the shoulders. Beautiful. One more glide up and down. And then when you're ready, set your butt down onto the ground, come all the way up to a seated position. And then from here, either crisscross applesauce, but really whatever seat works good for you. We want a little access to the front of the chest and the neck and the throat. So find a seat that works good for you. And then skin to ball contact is the nicest way to go because it really can also grab the skin and the connective tissue. But no worries if you're working all across your fabric of your clothes. But we're going to push in just a little bit. Push and roll across the chest. So think shoulder to shoulder. Push in just a little bit, take it over and across. Nice. And then just start to find this kind of, so we have our vagus nerve has a lot of nerve endings that run through the front of the neck and the throat. So this is kind of soothing or toning to the vagus nerve. Take one or two more passes just across shoulder to shoulder. Awesome. And then we're going to take it up to the neck and the throat. So be a little bit more mindful here. Create a little space so you can take it across the neck and the throat and only put as much pressure on as feels good. So you might feel that little gentle tug on the skin, but we don't want to give ourselves a little rash or burn the skin by pulling it too much. So just make sure it's a gentle amount of pressure. Nice. And then the next time you come over to the left side, hug that ball into the side of your neck. Push your ear gently into the ball. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Lift your head up, take it over and across the other way. Tuck it into the side of your neck and then just gently push in, pushing your ear into the ball. Take a nice big breath. Awesome. Lift your head up and then just take one or two more passes just across the neck and the throat just to kind of soothe all of that out. Beautiful. And then as you come back to center, just with a little bit of a handhold, close your eyes down for just a minute and we're just going to work through the fingers. So think thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky, and then just a gentle pushing in of the fingers as you work through. So go down to the pinky and then back to the thumb, and you just find a nice little pace that works good for you. Beautiful. Take one more time all the way through. And then once you've completed that, open your eyes. You guys are amazing. Be sure to drink plenty of water after doing all of that work.